Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing? Happy Friday to you, October the 17th. It's your main man, your Unc Anwar Richardson. Unc, are you live? No, not really. Listen, I recorded this thing in advance because, hey, listen, I gotta get on a plane. I gotta fly out. I gotta get to this game. So today I've got to. You won't have me live, but you got me. All you got to know is your uncle thought about you. Your uncle wanted to take care of you. Your uncle don't want to leave you hanging. So hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so. Because look, at the end of the day, it's Texas, Kentucky. After Texas, Kentucky, we got Texas, Mississippi State, and then we got Vanderbilt, then we got a bye. So listen, let's just blow through these things. For your sake, hope the Texas Longhorns get a win. And by the way, man, our weekend shows are doing great. The Unk shows on the usually heading into the weekend are doing fantastic. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. So let's get it down. Let's break into it. All kinds of things. Let's recap some of the things from this past week. Steve Sarkisian talked to the media on Thursday. Michael Terry, that's what everybody talking about. Michael Terry the third, excuse me. No disrespect to the second or the first, but we'll talk about a little bit about Michael Terry. We'll get into the keys to the game. What happened? You did an offensive grades mid-season. What happened to the defensive grades mid-season? All right, we'll start there. I'll be honest with you. Defense, overall, I love everything that I've seen. Florida game happened, but that was one. I'm willing to say that was the anomaly and not the norm. So props to the defense. I know I spent a lot of time on the offense. Then we had the prize pick show, and you're like, what the hell? Where's the rest of what's your defensive grades? All right, we'll run through this real quick. It's easy to run through it real quick because they've been doing so good. I love it. All right. Interior of the defensive line. Again, Florida was the only game that saw any of these guys getting pushed around, and I didn't like it. But outside of that, overall, they have been doing good. So for the interior of the defensive line, I am going to give y'all. I gotta dock you a little bit. Gotta dock you a little bit. But outside of that, I'm gonna give y'all A minus. A minus. There you go. Love what I'm seeing for Hero Canoe. Marad Watson's coming along. I'm fine with what I'm seeing from the deep defensive line from the interior. What about my edge guys? What I feel about them? Colin Simmons, right? What do we see from Ethan Berg? What am I seeing from the edge guys? And you can say to yourself, man, all right, man, you really only seen a guy like Colin Simmons have an impact over the last couple of weeks. But you got to understand too, I got to factor in when we go behind the stats. You got to remember there was this stat that game, I think it was UTEP. And they would start that pointed out that, hey, they were getting rid of the ball in like less than 2 seconds, right? So they kind of neutralized Colin Simmons per se, right? So because teams have to factor that in, I have to factor that into my grade. Sometimes it goes beyond just the grade itself and looking at the numbers, but you got to look at, okay, once you get outside the numbers, what are these people doing and impacting? And the fact that you got a scheme because you're scared of them, it's kind of like this for me, y'all. Do I judge a DB strictly by the interceptions? Because you could be a hellified DB and only have 1 or 2 interceptions because you're on Revis Island, right? And so when I look at the edge guys, particularly Colin Simmons, who, by the way, is so damn good. Am I going to look at it strictly on the sack numbers, or do I have to look at it like a Revis Island and say to myself, yeah, man, but they're doing everything they can. They're not throwing to his side, a.k.a. they're not giving Colin Simmons a chance to rush them. And for that, yes, I'm going to give y'all an A. So then I'm going to move to the linebackers. Again, solid, solid group, solid group. Not quote unquote outstanding, but solid to the point where I say to those guys, man, anything that's happened, I don't look at y'all as the problem. I look at y'all as the guys who are getting it done. Florida was the anomaly for this defense. That's what I'm saying. It was the anomaly for the defense. It's not the norm. So, because I got enough sample size outside of that game to say that's not the norm, when I look at my linebackers and I look at only one game, and look, there's only one game where there was a run game where people were just like they were getting off. And that's really the Florida game, right? So when I look at the linebackers, again, I'm gonna ding y'all a little bit. A minus. No, you still an honor roll student. All your parents can still put a sticker on the back of their car. Oh my God, they don't even do that no more. They don't even do that no more. If they do it, they'll do it at my kids' school. I don't even think they do that anymore. But you remember back, man? Well, it wasn't when I went to school. They didn't have nothing like that. And then over the last several years, I saw stuff like that. And then I thought, I might be able to get like my kid was an honor roll student at such and such. I don't even think they do that no more. Quarterbacks, Manny Muhammad. People didn't realize how much Manny Muhammad, how valuable he was until he wasn't around. You're like, oh shoot, where's Manny Muhammad? Then he comes back last week and he does what he does. You throw in the nickel spot in that as well. Man, solid day. And you know what? Save for my safeties because I don't see them getting blown off. I don't see nobody blowing off the roof off of them. Again, Dallas Wilson's the only guy that got off. And what? Am I supposed to give them a B off of one performance? Nah. My safeties, who I love, A. So it's all A's, just variations. I can't give any unit an A plus at right now. And I represent Cedar Park. That's where I'm from. Well, par. I guess this cup was supposed to be in the dishwasher as much as it was, but that's where we are from there. All right, let's do a recap here. Let's go through my power rankings for this past week, heading into the weekend. I don't even see my weekend schedule in here. This is what crazy. Oh, it's no, I don't even have my weekend schedule in here. That's throwing me off. That's kind of annoying. Anyway, my SEC power rankings. Y'all can see I moved Texas up severely based off of the win that they had. Was I held them back for a hot minute, but they're back up there where they need to be. And then when you look at the rest of it, I got Vanderbilt still at the 7th spot, Missouri at the 8th spot, Mississippi State, and I had to bump Oklahoma back. And I get the feeling, quite honest with you, this is not going to be the only time that I have to bump them back. But we'll continue to go down that path. You guys see LSU there. They were highly ranked for me at the start of the season. They don't have a quality win that I can think of or care about. I moved Florida back a little bit. We got Kentucky, South Carolina, and Arkansas still continues to be my worst team. I got my schedule. I went and look. Oh, shoot. That's not my schedule. Tyler? That's not my schedule. I mean, listen, you wouldn't be mad if Texas played Oklahoma again this weekend. You would not be mad. Tyler? All right. I just threw my producer under the bus who was supposed to make my schedule. And apparently that is not my schedule. So I do apologize for that. So nonetheless, we'll move past that, y'all. And we'll just move into thinking about this game itself. All right, let's get into the game itself. This is in apparently -6 font for anybody who can see this small. If you're driving, do not do this. We not. There's two things we don't need. We don't need you getting into an accident, and we don't need everybody else on this show to be sitting in traffic for the next 20 minutes. Even though that would probably give them enough time to finish my show. You can see that Arkansas's offense is ranked in the nation is at 109, aka that's pretty damn horrible. Texas at 63. Um, Russian defense is okay at 66, just a little bit ahead of a Texas passing offense is at 114. Their defense is ranked at 107. So you've got one of the worst offenses from an offensive rank standpoint in the country. You got one of the worst defenses from a defensive rank in the country. As you continue to go down the list, I mean, passing yards allowed, they're at a $110, which AKA means this should be a really good time for Arch to go off. If you're looking at your prize picks, you better do that. AKA, I better do that before I get on a plane. I never know where prize picks is or isn't going to work when I go out of town. Third down conversions isn't great. Fourth down conversions is pretty damn horrible. Red zone offense for Kentucky, 74. They could be like, well, we're better than Texas. I mean, I guess. Texas, I think, is going to get better in that. You can just go through everything and say to yourself, like, damn, ain't a lot to be happy about as relates to this. And then we have the injury report. That came out on Thursday. Aaron Butler is out. Aaron Butler doesn't play a ton. Like Xavier Filsaime is out. He doesn't play a ton. Jonathan Cunningham, I feel like he was new on the injury report. I don't remember seeing him on Wednesday. If I did, I apologize to the Cunningham family. Cole Hudson and Connor Stroh, those guys are out. CJ Baxter is doubtful, aka that's about a 75%. Less than about 75% chance that he doesn't play. Questionable is Marad Watson. But when you look at it, does at the end of the day, those guys being out still be enough to beat Kentucky and beat them pretty handily. You can see all the guys from Kentucky who are out as well. And so when we go into this, this is a game that Texas should be able to control and should be able to play well in. So let's get into some of my keys to victory here. Let's recap. Let's do for accountability purposes. Let's recap my keys to victory for the Red River, and then we'll continue to go after that. So my first key for Red River was you got to run the football, right? And then we saw Quintravian Wisener go off, not only running standpoint, but from a passing standpoint. So that was able to check the boxes. The second key that I had was, hey, you got to get Ryan Wingo involved. And they did make an effort to get Ryan Wingo involved. 5 receptions, right? You felt his presence. You knew Ryan Wingo was there. He didn't go off. But at the end of the day, you were like, we didn't go to the end of the day and say to ourselves, well, is Ryan Wingo still on this team? No, Ryan Wingo was still a part of it. The third thing I said was eliminate the penalties. Like they were at double digits, seemingly every game. They finished with 4. Once again, like you could say to yourself, all right, that went extremely, extremely well. Actually, flipped it around. First thing I said, I think I take it back. I did run the football. That's my next key for this game. The first key that I had, the numbers still add up, even though they're out of order. Don't get Arch Manning killed. The offensive line, when they started off to the first couple of series, I was like, oh my God, Arch is going to die. But when at the end of the day, they ended up protecting him. And then my fifth key to the victory was take the points. Sarkisian. He attempted field goals, 55, 56. And at the end of the day, he did take the points. So I was extremely happy. So when we go into my keys to the victory for this game, I apologize for any confusion. My first key for this game is to run the football. While I know Jarrett Gibson isn't there, I know Quatravian Rising is there, and I know that he's just sneaky good. That's just who he is. He's a sneaky good player. If you sleep on him and you think to yourself, it good day, easy day, light work, it's not gonna happen. You got to be able to run the football on this team. And so if Quatravian Wiser can get off, and then yeah, we can get into the Christian Clarks of the world and potentially a Michael Terry, the third of the world, he's got so much good, so much potential. I wrote a lot about him on Orange Bloods on Thursday night. So if you're not on there, please sign up and check it out because I have a lot of insider information as relates to him. But if you're able to run the football, you got a fantastic chance of winning the game. Explosive plays, I gotta see it. I know Arch Manning likes to push the ball down the field. No problem with that. Go ahead and do what you do, Arch. But we got to see explosive plays. As this season goes along, Texas has to be the offense that can stretch the field, that can make guys pay, that can make teams and coordinators say, okay, they can make the plays down the field. We saw Arch against Oklahoma. He was able to do the shorter things, and that was fine. That's great. But we got to be able to see those 30, 40, 50-yard plays. You don't need a lot of them, but you need enough on tape where if you get it on tape, that's enough to scare some defensive coordinators. And then all of a sudden you can disguise like certain things that you're doing. So give me some of the explosive plays. The third thing, Steve Sarkisian bragged about this all week long. And I say brag, I don't mean like he was like braggadocious, but I would say had pride more so than anything else. When they won the turnover margin against Oklahoma, you got to do the same thing. You know, for me, the thing when you're playing against Kentucky, you're going to say it's on the road, it's a night game, all those kind of things. The thing that usually sways most night games is turnovers. If the team that's hosting, that's got all the light show going and everybody's like all that stuff is happening. If that team gets turnovers, all of a sudden it gets difficult. But if you can win a turnover margin, it'd be like Texas OU, where OU fans are headed to the doors in the fourth quarter. That's the thing. You've got to win the turnover margin. The thing that Kentucky does well, and by well, I'm not saying like they're fantastic at it, but the thing that they try to hold their hat upon is that they're able to run the football a little bit. They're only an 11th ranked rushing offense in the conference, so it's not like they're great. But this is the thing that they're trying to run. They try to do. If you could put Kentucky, basically eliminate their rushing offense and put them into passing situations, well, then you're good. Because from a passing situation standpoint, Kentucky has the 15th ranked passing offense in the SEC. So they can kind of sort of run the ball. But if you make sure they can't run the ball, then they have to put that horrible passing game out there. A lot of slow singing and a lot of flower bringing. And fifth will always be my fifth. And it's never going to change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth. Take the points. Take the Sark. If you're able to look back at what you were able to accomplish just by taking the points against Oklahoma, by trying the field goals. I mean, look at Oklahoma at the end of the half. They don't even try to get the points. They don't even try to aggressive. If you just take the points, take the threes, I know it's not sexy, but you're just stacking and stacking. You know what take the points is like? It's like having silver in today's economy. It's not sexy, But if you just stack it and stack it and stack it and stack it, all of a sudden you're sitting at 50 plus an ounce. Ooh, yeah. Ups on some things. So that being said, you've got to take the points. Overall, I'm predicting a Texas victory. I think I went 31-10 on the Prize Pick show. Um, Maybe I might be being a little generous with the 10, but I'm going 31-10 Texas. And then look, last thing I'm going to say is important game for Texas because at the end of the day, um, they don't have a road win and they got to get one of those, so Sark company, they pride themselves on being able to go on the road and pull out wins, pull out dubs. Well, you know what, they don't have one now, so in order to go next week versus Mississippi State, you come back with the bye. In order to do Mississippi State, in order to do Georgia, you've got to be able to tell yourself, okay, we went on the road and against, even if it's Kentucky, it's an SEC opponent, you'll be able to say, we able to get the dub, we're able to get the win. That's what Texas needs to do. And if they do that, when I get on that post-game show on Saturday night, we're going to have a lot of fantastic things to discuss. For all of y'all who are going to Kentucky, who are already there, I know several of y'all are already there now. I think Tex Juan's there, other people are there. Y'all go out, have a great time, be safe. And I will see y'all on the post-game show on Saturday. Remember what I always say, your uncle always says, live each day like it's your last, because one day it will be. So go out, enjoy yourself, have a fantastic day, treat yourself to something special, because that's exactly who you are. And I will see y'all, hopefully, after a Texas victory on Saturday night. Y'all take care. Peace.